The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson. Introduction. The story of Jake, the day everything changed. Jake had always been the guy who did everything right. He studied hard, got a respectable job, dressed the way he thought people would admire, and made sure to be liked by everyone he met. He followed the rules, checked all the boxes, and did what society told him would lead to happiness. But deep inside, something felt off. At 29, Jake had a well-paying corporate job, a nice car, and a perfectly curated Instagram life. Yet every morning, as he sat in traffic, he felt an emptiness that he couldn't explain. He scrolled through social media, comparing himself to people who seemed happier, richer, and more successful. No matter how much he achieved, there was always someone doing more. And the next morning, he felt inviolate, and his heart hit a solid wall. Then, one day, everything changed. It was a Monday morning. Jake had worked late the night before, trying to finish a project that wasn't even his responsibility. His boss barely acknowledged it. His girlfriend was upset that he was always too busy to spend time with her, and the worst part? He didn't even know why he was working this hard. On his way to work, Jake's mind was racing with thoughts. His unread emails, his boss's unrealistic expectations, and the growing feeling that he was running on a treadmill with no destination. Then, bam! He rear-ended a car in front of him. As he sat there staring at the dented bumper, he expected to feel panic. But instead he felt something else. Something he hadn't felt in years. Relief. For the first time in a long time, Jake had no choice but to stop. No meetings, no emails, no pretending, just silence. The man he hit stepped out of his car, an older guy with a gray beard and a calm expression. Instead of yelling, he looked at Jake and said something unexpected. "Looks like you've got a lot on your mind. Let me give you some advice. The sooner you stop giving a fuck about things that don't matter, the sooner you'll actually start living." Jake stared at him, speechless. That single sentence felt like a punch to the gut. Later that night, still shaken, he Googled the phrase, "How to Stop Giving a Fuck." That's when he found The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson. As he read, everything started making sense. His entire life, he had been giving his energy to the wrong things. And that's what we're going to talk about today. If you've ever felt like Jake, overwhelmed, constantly chasing happiness and exhausted from caring about things that don't actually matter, this audiobook summary is for you. It's time to stop wasting energy on the wrong things and start focusing on what truly matters. Lesson 1. Choose your struggles wisely. Most people think happiness means avoiding problems, but in reality, life is always going to have struggles. The key isn't to eliminate problems, it's to choose problems that are meaningful to you. People who love fitness don't see tough workouts as suffering, they see them as growth. Entrepreneurs who love building businesses don't view obstacles as setbacks, they see them as challenges to conquer. Instead of asking yourself, how can I avoid problems, ask, what problems am I willing to struggle for? Your happiness is determined by the struggles you're willing to endure. Lesson 2. Stop chasing bad values. Society tells us to chase money, fame, and approval from others. But these are bad values because they depend on things outside your control. If your self-worth comes from how many followers you have or how much money you make, you'll always feel like you're not enough. True fulfillment comes from values that are internally driven. Things like honesty, resilience, and personal growth. These values don't rely on other people's opinions. They give you a strong foundation no matter what happens around you. The moment you stop chasing superficial validation is the moment you start living authentically. Lesson 3. You are not special, and that's a good thing. One of the most counterintuitive lessons in this book is that you are not special. We live in a world where everyone is told they're unique and destined for greatness. But the truth is, nobody is entitled to an easy or extraordinary life just because they exist. And that's actually liberating. Instead of waiting for success to find you, you take responsibility for creating the life you want. The most successful people aren't those who believe they deserve greatness. They're the ones who take consistent action regardless of how they feel. The world doesn't owe you anything, but that means you have the power to define your own success. Lesson 4. Take responsibility for everything in your life. Even when something isn't your fault, it's still your responsibility. You can't control everything that happens to you, but you can control how you respond. If you get fired, if someone breaks your heart, if life throws you a curveball, it might not be fair, but blaming others won't change your situation. The only way forward is to own your choices and decide how to move on. Taking responsibility for your life doesn't mean blaming yourself for everything. It means recognizing that you have the power to change your future, no matter what your past looks like. Lesson 5. Say no to the wrong thing. Every time you say yes to something unimportant, you're saying no to something that truly matters. If you constantly give your time and energy to things that drain you, whether it's toxic people, mindless distractions, or obligations you don't care about, you won't have anything left for the things that actually fulfill you. The ability to say no is one of the most powerful skills you can develop. Protect your energy like it's your most valuable asset, because it is. If something isn't helping you grow, it's weighing you down. Lesson 6. Remember that you will die, and live accordingly. This might sound dark, but accepting your own mortality is one of the most freeing things you can do. Most people live like they have unlimited time, wasting years on things that don't matter. But the truth is, you don't have forever. One day your time will run out, and when you fully embrace that, you stop hesitating, you stop caring about petty things, you stop waiting for the perfect moment. If you only had a year left to live, what would you do differently? Whatever your answer is, start doing it now. The clock is ticking. Final motivation: walk out of the gym with power. Jake's life changed when he stopped giving a fuck about things that didn't matter, and yours will too. Ask yourself right now, what am I wasting my energy on? What truly matters to me? What am I going to stop giving a fuck about today? Stop caring about the wrong things, focus on what matters, and start living on your own terms. Go out there, take control, and make every moment count.